Hi, I'm Sunny from LoreForged, and I'm here to talk to you about Ashes of Creation. You can find all of our stuff at LoreForged.com. I have a full R2 full of coffee, and I'm wearing one of my favorite bow ties, so I think it's time that we talk about the Tulnar. Now, before I can really talk about the Tulnar, I have to explain a little bit about the apocalypse, which is gonna come into play in a second here. The apocalypse, or the fall, or the great calamity, it was a thing. It began with comet-like celestial bodies. They were called harbingers, and they kind of smashed into the planet Vera. Ancients flowed out of it. Basically, it was a really bad deal, right? So like you have this god level apocalypse that happens, and there were certain races on Vera at that time. You had your humans, you had your elves, you had your dwarves, and you had your orcs, all the different kinds of orcs, especially the orky orcs, led by their leader, Orky Orc and the Funky Bunch. That was a bad one. Hashtag good vibrations. Anyway, wow, I got totally distracted there by the orc thing. The races on Vera were granted this reprieve from the apocalypse, granted specifically by the goddess of creation. And she opened up a portal and basically said, get out of here. This is a good idea. You should leave. Things are not good. And so all of the races pretty much did that. They picked up their bags and they packed up their cutlery and whatnot, and they booked it through the portal, because that's a good idea when you have celestial bodies waging war on your planet. Here's the downside. Not all of them made it through the hole. So if you don't, then you gotta kind of figure out a way to survive. And that is where we get the Tulnar. So the Tulnar are the race that made it, but they didn't start off as the Tulnar. They started off as Orky Orc and the Funky Bunch and the dwarves and the elves and the humans, right? They all made it through there, but over time, and this is where I have a little bit of beef with the wiki. I'm not real sure about this, but it says like years became ages, ages became eons. I had to look up how much an eon is. Apparently, according to science, an eon is 1 billion years. So eons, multiple billion years have gone by. Well, regardless of whether or not you believe it's been that long, it was long enough that all of those races interbred because they were hiding in a place called the Underdark. Well, it's dark. I mean, you don't know what's going on. You gotta stay warm somehow. So you end up with all of these races that are combining and mixing in this place of refuge, all while, it's just breaking loose up top. And so then you have a singular race that kind of comes out of all of that, and they are the Tulnar. And I gotta be honest with you, like, this is one of those things in Ashes that I really find fascinating. Like, my hat's off to you guys on the creativity on this one. Like I've always said, you have the tired tropes of races. You have your mountain dwarves and you have your high elves and things like that. But the Tulnar are a totally different ballgame. They look strange, like kind of what would happen if you took a bunch of, races and mixed them up in a pot and then threw them in the Instapot and saw what came out. So they're kind of goat-like, orc, human. It's exactly what you'd expect. They've got their own religion. According to the wiki, they eat many things. I don't even know what that means. Of course they eat many things. I assume they ate whatever they could get their hands on as a survival tactic. They are pretty mysterious at this point. There's not a lot of information that has been released about the Tulnar. So they are a very kind of cards close to the vest sort of situation from Intrepid on this one. And I like it. I think that they are going to be a very attractive thing, but I love the story behind it, right? When the portals reopened and everyone came back in, they're kind of like, hey, is Bob there? Bob didn't make it through the portal. Is he still around? Any remnants of, distant relations of Bob's line? And some Tulnar dude comes up and is like, yep, Bob was my infinitely great grandfather, and I don't look like him anymore. So it's it's very strange, but it's a fascinating story, and it's just another element of MMO breaking that Intrepid is trying to do, and I love it. And I think that the Tulnar are going to be a lot of fun. So here's to you guys, and hopefully you don't get stuck in the next apocalypse, but if you do, then I guess it'll be Tulnar 2.0.